Harry Kane saved the day. You say, where would they be without him? They would be on the flight home. But it really is a big question, isn't it, Ali? Where would they be without Harry Kane?
Well, let me first address the fact that it's impossible to watch an England game when Kay is in the same room because you can feel the tension. And Kay is usually bubbly. Yeah, she's happy. And if she's tense, then what is there? There's no room for me there. I cannot be the one that is having to provide the hope and the optimism. And yet, if you want hope and optimism for England, look no further than Harry Kane. Now, we've been talking a lot about France, and we've been talking about Lionel Messi, and we're talking about Mbappe, and Erling Haaland and Norway, and the big names for the big teams showing up. We actually spoke about Germany not having big enough names and not stepping up in the moments in which you needed them. Boy, did they need Harry Kane today, because at the moment in which he scores his first goal, it just didn't feel like England were about to score. It felt like, well, Mpassi is just going to save everything. And Congo is just going to get on the way of everything, and it's just not going to happen. And to that I'll say, as many saves as Mpassi made, the one that he didn't make on the first goal, he just kind of flaps at it. That's perhaps the easiest save that he could have made of all the ones that he made today. And I don't want to sell him short, but you also have to say, good Lord, that was the one that he needed to make. He did not. And from then on, it felt like England had momentum. It was hectic. It was nervous. It was disorganized. But eventually, when you needed quality in the middle of all the chaos, when everybody's freaking out, you need somebody who sees a different picture and who has a different level of talent. And Harry Kane brought that with the second goal. What a finish that was. What a game for him. They needed him, and he was able to produce. It
did feel harsh to pick up Mpassi, didn't it, on that equalising goal for Harry Kane. But Ali made a good point.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you analyse the game. I think if you analyse with your head, you think England deserved to win the game. They beat Congo in all the metrics. But if you analyse it with your heart, you feel sorry for Congo because they put some effort in. They left their heart and soul on the pitch. They defended incredibly well. Fullbacks were amazing. The goalkeeper was outstanding. But Ali's right. The one that he had to save, which was the easiest one of the lot, I'm not sure if he tried to make it a little bit more difficult by making it spectacular, or he was tired, or a lack of concentration. It is a position where you make one mistake, it's costly. But like Ali, I think once England got their first goal in the game on 75, it felt inevitable they were going to win the game because there was too many good players on the pitch. There was so many attacking players on the pitch. And then that just derails you slightly. If you're Congo, you think, we've put so much effort in, we couldn't take it to 90 minutes. We look at the opposition and the quality that they've got. We're a little bit tired. Can we hang on for extra time? And you just watch it and you just think, if Kane gets one more chance, it's inevitable. And what a finish it was.
Yeah, and when you see the first goal, when DR Congo scored, then we knew this could be a big upset again. We've already seen some big European exits in the World Cup so far.
Well, they should have made it two.
They should have made it two as well. They should have made it two in the first half. Yeah, in the 42nd minute, you wonder how that one didn't go in. But even in that moment, that's when you wondered, like, who was at fault there for Sipenga's goal? Jordan Pickford was beaten at his near post. The defence, there was questions of them.
The positioning of the back line was all over the place. Jet Spence felt like he needed to be sucked in because center backs were out of position. And he felt like he needed to go and cover the inside space. And in doing that, he gives way too much time to Sipenga, who, hits it on target. But if you're Jordan Pickford, you cannot get beaten there. And in all honesty, it was a sloppy start from England. It was sloppy defending. It was poor goalkeeping. And you're thinking that there was going to be a reaction. And there really wasn't. Yeah, we talk about the effects of the hydration breaks in this tournament and how they can, in some way, affect a game or change a game. England needed a timeout. England needed a moment to just kind of like, let's breathe, because we're not even completing passes. We're hitting balls straight out of bounds. We saw that from Jude Bellingham. They needed just a second or two to just kind of, all right, settle down. We're losing. We're a better team. Let's complete some passes. Let's start creating some chances. Our momentum is going to take over, and eventually we're going to be good enough to win this. But they needed a timeout. They really did.
Tuchel likes the hydration breaks.
Well, apparently, he does should. Now. He should, because, frankly, they were in need of that. They were looking at each other like, wait. This was not supposed to happen. This is not how it's supposed to go. And to their credit, the second part of that first half was better for England. But to Don's point, the biggest moment of this match up until the second goal by Harry Kane was the miss by Visa. Wisa's right there. It's a tap-in. It's my kind of range. It makes the game 2-0. And you think England was freaking out after 1-0. Imagine after 2-0. I just thought that moment in itself would have propelled Congo to at the very least know that, hey, we can really do this. We believe that we can do this. We know that we can do this. You miss that chance, and then you start thinking what might have been, what could have been, and particularly so when Kane scores his first goal, and then the momentum was all with England.
Yeah, that Visa chance, because we've seen him doing very well in this World Cup so far, and that was a massive moment for him.
It was a sitter, because the angle of the finish, you tried to go near post and a really small margin you had to finish. If he has it back again, you just go left. All the goal was waiting for him to the left-hand side. Maybe he snatched at it. Maybe he panicked in front of goal. That's why you're looking for a clean contact. You've got to back your ability, make good contact, but shift it on the left-hand side because all the goal was there. And then the big talking point during the game was England's so-called penalty.
Right after that.
Right, just after. So it was a brilliant game to watch. It was like, as I said before, you really feel for Congo because they couldn't have done any more, apart from obviously Wissa making it 2-0. But England will take a lot from that. And watching the game there, I was thinking, how does Thomas Tuchel not see that he doesn't need Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice as 2 sixes in midfield? They're both the same player. They've got all the possession in the world. And in the end, Jed Spence come off and Declan Rice went to right back, had involved in the goal. So he had opportunities and he had attacking players on because he had to be desperate, Tuchel. So he'd done the right thing. But in terms of starting, I'm not so sure you play 2 sixes when you've got people like Morgan Rogers or Ollie Watkins sitting on the bench to try and, have more of an effect on the game.
I'll highlight 2 players from England that we haven't spoken about just yet. Jude Bellingham. I did mention before that he was hitting the ball straight out of bounds, as everybody was from England when they went down. But after that, soon thereafter, you see him making those runs from deep again. Yeah. And again, and again. He gets his head on a couple, probably should have scored on a couple, but in pass he came up with a couple of saves. And the goal eventually from Harry Kane comes from Jude Bellingham getting in behind. And what that does is it moves defenders around. They have to react to that move. They have to react to that run. And so then you got to go and chase it out there. And in chasing it out there, you can't be in 2 places at the same time. If you go and chase out there, that means that you're leaving a space in behind you. And that's exactly the space that then Harry Kane ends up hitting and ends up attacking. And that in itself, I think, is valuable for England. And then perhaps a player that people were not thinking about mentioning following this match, Nico O'Reilly. And I'll say that name for this very reason. There were moments in this game in which England were disorganized because they were desperate getting forward. And it felt like there was an opportunity for DR Congo to go on the counter, and they did a couple of times. And believe me, Nico O'Reilly, I did not know that you had this in your game, that kind of speed over distance, covering the ground. And I'm thinking, I've been criticizing England and Manchester City, both Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola, for playing this guy a left back. But when you have that kind of recovery speed down the left-hand side, go on, son. You do you. I didn't know he had that in his game. Perhaps I haven't appreciated it nearly as much. But over distance, he was able to cover 40, 50 yards, recover possession, and we're back in the attack, keeping momentum for England. That was important.